you gotta have the Cajun barbecue sauce. Yeah, Cajun style barbecue sauce. Pig stand, Jack Miller's, you gotta have one. Hey, welcome to Big Lou Barbecue and other things I want to do. I'm Big Lou and this is what I've got going on for you. I'm gonna cook some pork steaks tonight, Cajun style pork steaks. Now, before I get into this, I got to take some digs at one of my barbecue heroes, a guy that, I started reading about way back in the 90s, Stephen Raichlen. I learned a lot from him. I've got a lot of his books. And I looked through the book a minute ago to find where it is, but I know I read it in one of his books. He was talking about Cajun injectable marinades, and he said something about Louisiana hasn't contributed a lot to barbecue, to the world of barbecue, except that they invented injectable marinades, or at least a lot of them are made here in Louisiana, and he gave Louisiana credit for that. But then I was watching one of his shows, Project Smoke, I think it was. Might have been Project Fire, one of them. And I've also got the books for both of those, but I couldn't find the reference in the book. But I was watching one and he cooked some pork steaks. He cooked Kentucky pork steaks. It was a different kind of thing than what we do down here. And then he said pork steaks are cooked in Kentucky and then in some city in the Midwest, and he said virtually nowhere else. And I'm thinking South Louisiana. We love our pork steaks down here. Cajun pork steaks are great. In fact, like if somebody's having like a benefit barbecue for like a school or like a youth basketball team or a baseball team or something, and they're doing barbecue, you may get your choice between chicken or pork steak. And if you go over to a cookout here in South Louisiana, you're gonna see, the usual stuff, burgers, chicken, ribs, of course the usual stuff for South Louisiana, hot links, boudin, and pork steaks are probably gonna be there, all right? And these came from the grocery store. They're only about a ½ inch thick. I usually get mine at the meat market, but the meat market's not open on Sunday, and I'm cooking these on a Monday. That meat market's not open on Monday either. They're 5/8 of an inch thick, a little bit thicker at the meat market. So these are rather thin pork steaks. They're cut from the pork shoulder, the pork butt, and we're gonna do them Cajun style. Now, there's two important ingredients you gotta have to do some Cajun barbecue style pork steaks. First thing, you gotta have pork steaks. Second thing, you gotta have a Cajun barbecue sauce, all right? Basically, there's two main brands of Cajun barbecue sauce down here, and we love the stuff, all right? There's Pig Stand, and there's Jack Miller's. Now, I've used Pig Stand on my show before. I've used Jack Miller's on my show before. In fact, when I bought this Pig Stand, I bought it because I was going to do a comparison video with the Jack Miller's, but I wound up using the Jack Miller's on something or another a while back. So I got the Pig Stand in the cabinet. That's what we're going to use. But that's cool because Pig Stand, folks at Pig Stand have a video on how to cook pork steaks. I'm going to leave a link to that right there in the iCard. Yep, right there in the iCard, and it's going to be down below. You can watch the folks at Pig Stand show you how to cook pork steaks. By the way, they have a really cool grill that they cook it on. These grills, Old Smokies, are real popular in Southwest Louisiana. Anyway, I know I'm talking about pork steaks because Stephen Raichlen said they're non-existent in the rest of the country except Kentucky and some city in the Midwest. I want Stephen Raichlen to know they're real common down here too. All right, the technique is pretty much, the process is pretty much the same. Yeah, you gotta season them, and you can buy them already seasoned. Here's a picture of the ones that were in the grocery store. My meat market also sells them pre-seasoned as well. All right, but really, if you buy them unseasoned, you only gotta season them about 2 hours before, and I did season mine 2 hours before. I will show you that process now.
Well, they came in packs of 4 from the grocery store. They're about 3/8 inch, maybe a ½ inch thick. I like them about 5/8 inch thick, like my local meat market does. This is Cajun Power Worcestershire sauce, and it was provided from the folks at Cajun Culture, who also gave me the seasoning I'm going to use. That's not a real Worcestershire sauce, and it doesn't have anchovies in it. Here's that Kick Your Daddy seasoning. No, it's not Slap Your Mama. It's not Slap Your Daddy. It's Kick Your Daddy Cajun seasoning. Okay, I'm going to take these pork steaks. Sometimes I might cut a little thick fat like that off, but I left it on this time. You can see this Worcestershire sauce is really thick. It's kind of thick and gooey. It's not like a regular Worcestershire sauce, and it doesn't have anchovies in it like regular Worcestershire sauce has. Anyway, I'm just going to coat all these down real well with the Worcestershire sauce, and then of course we're going to put that Kick Your Daddy seasoning on them as well. And I'm going to put them in a plastic bowl and put them in the ice box for about 2.5 to 3 hours or so before we cook them. All right, so there you go. I'm just seasoning them up, rubbing them all down just like that. And now here goes that Kick Your Daddy seasoning. Just going to give a good coating to them and then just kind of let them soak. And each one's going to go into that plastic bowl.
All right, So they're all seasoned. They're sitting in the refrigerator. I need to light the grill, and they're going to go on to be about, they've been in there about 2.5 hours after I seasoned them by the time this grill's lit and ready to go. We're going to mix this with some pecan oil. You got to mix this with an oil. You can use butter, you can use bacon grease, you can use just regular vegetable oil if you want. I like using Louisiana pecan oil because it's Cajun pork steaks. Why not use Kinlock pecan oil? I've got a discount code for Kinlock pecan oil. I'll show you the bottle of that in a minute when I bring it out here. It's not out here right now. But it's Big Lou 15. If you want some Kinlock pecan oil, you can get some for 15% off. It's all caps, BIGLEW 15. Yeah, my name is Big Lou, LEW, not LOU. LEW, BIGLEW 15. And you can get some pecan oil for 15% off. All right, anyway, the folks at Pig Stand have a video about how to do it. The process is pretty much the same. You want to season them. You want to grill them a little bit indirect, and then sear them up a little bit direct, and then you want to, usually people wrap them in aluminum foil like they do in the Pig Stand video. I put mine in some iron, all right? Yep, I got a Dutch oven. We're gonna put it in the Dutch oven and let them simmer like that. You gotta have a process where you seal them off and let them simmer in the Cajun barbecue sauce. I've got a pile of coals in the middle. I'm not going to spread them out. Now I could do, you know, one on like the right-hand side or left-hand side or whatever. It's round. How do you have sides, right? But, you know, I could do 2-zone fire that way, you know, coals over here, indirect over there. But my indirect's going to be around the outside. My direct's going to be here in the center. I'll put that little sauce pot right there. And and I'll put about, this is that pecan oil I was telling you about. This is really good stuff. Kinlock pecan oil. And like I said, Big Lou 15 will get you 15% off. I'm going to put maybe 2 ounces or so in there. That's 4 tablespoons, 1/4 cup. That's about right. All right, and then Cajun barbecue sauce. Got to get this stuff heated up. Yep, don't worry about my pocket knife here. It's clean. I washed it this morning after doing my toenails and shaving nose hairs and stuff like that with it. Yeah, you know, so anyway, you want to shake this stuff up, all right? Now, Cajun barbecue sauce is really, really delicious, but it's chunky. And like I said, Pig Stand or Jack Miller's, both are good. But Pig Stand actually has a video on their website, on their YouTube channel, Pig Stand's YouTube channel, about how to do Cajun pork steaks. Very similar to what I'm doing here, but not exactly, okay? And they're gonna use aluminum foil. I'm gonna use iron when we get to the wrapping up part. I'm gonna use about half that bottle for these 8 pork steaks. That's good right there. I want to kind of mix it all in there, stir it up real good, and as that heats up, that oil's going to take on that flavor, come to the top, and that's going to be our basting sauce. All right, I do have a red lid right over there for this thing. Take these pork steaks. They've been sitting in the fridge for about 2.5 hours since I seasoned them up. And I'm just gonna put them right around here. I probably should have trimmed that fat. Usually I don't leave it that fat on there, but oh well, such is life, you know. You don't have to cut it off. I just usually like to if it's real thick. I would never bother cutting one that's that thin off, but that one's a little too thick. All right, so I'm just gonna put these all around here like this. You get the point. Pork steaks are on there. I got a little bit of that Worcestershire marinade pork juice, you know. I'm gonna be cooking it. That's gonna come to a boil, so it's going right in there with the sauce. Also at this stage, I'm gonna go ahead and cover it up. I'm gonna leave it covered for about 10 minutes or so. I've got the bottom vents wide open, top vents wide open. All right, these have been on there for about 10 minutes. That sauce is boiling good. Woo! Let's get it stirred up well. Now the oil on top, that's going to be our basting sauce. All right, what I'm going to do, go ahead and grab this pot and take a pork steak and put it right over there in the center and set the pot offset like that. I'm going to start searing that up a bit and take some of this oil that's on top, that oil that's on top right there, and baste it just like that. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Gonna let that one sear for a minute. I'm gonna flip it over. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this one over. That's good enough. I'm gonna baste it on this side, just like that. Let it go for a minute or so. All right, what I'm gonna do, I'm move it out the way. Put another one in the way, right like that. And you wanna go right there, guy. Right there again. And I'm gonna continue to do the same process. Use the oil on top of the sauce to baste it with. Flip it over, do it again, and I'm gonna do this one and the other 6 steaks. All right, with the lid off, the fire kind of grew quick. Getting these seared right, and I've basted them. As I got to those last 2 right there, I noticed I was running out of oil on top, so I added about another tablespoon of pecan oil. We'll go ahead and take this pot of sauce off right here. Set it over here on the side. Now, right here, this is where people would wrap them up in aluminum foil. I've got this piece of iron right here. This is Asian iron, okay? You can fuss at me if you want to about not having American iron, but I got this at one of those white elephant gift games at Christmas time one time, and we're gonna put some of that right there on the bottom, just like that. And I'm glad to have it because it doesn't have legs on it, but it does have a coal lip on the top. And I'm just gonna smear that all down in there like this. Like I said, I'm gonna use this iron instead of aluminum foil. All right, gonna go ahead and you know what? I need to do it this way. It's I do this a lot, but when you're doing it on the camera, sometimes you kind of forget about your steps. We'll go ahead and just baste some of this sauce right here, that thick sauce right there on that. All right. This is a Cajun pit stick, by the way. Making Cajun pork chops, you gotta have a Cajun pit stick, right? I'll have a link down below where you can get the Cajun pit sticks, where you can get the Cajun barbecue sauce, where you can get an old Smokey grill like this. I have no affiliation with any of them, all right? I stay in touch with the folks at Old Smokey a lot, and they'll send me some stuff every now and then, but I don't get any money if you buy one from them. And got Cajun pit sticks like what I was doing with this stuff so much. He made some for me with my channel name on it. Ain't that nice? Ain't that nice? All right, brush some more on there. Just thick like that right there. All right. You go like this. Brush some more on there. Just like that. These are cut from pork butts, okay? And since they're cut from pork butts, the pork butt's a tough cut of meat. That's why you gotta make pulled pork with it real low and slow and everything. You're really gonna have to simmer these. And that's why they get simmered in aluminum foil a lot, but heck, a pork butt's a pot roast, right? So I just do it in a pot, man. Just do it in a pot. All right, you know what? You can fall over there. A little bit more room for you over there in there. All right, look at that. That one cupped up and got all that juice in there. I do not want to lose it. Get in there. A little more sauce. Oh, yeah. And last one. Woo, look how good that got. That was that first one I did. You said that was not seared very well. It got some sear on it now, don't it, baby? Yes, indeedy. All right, now what we do is, excuse me for reaching over the camera there. I'm gonna grab this here, grab my brush, and dump all that sauce out all over these things, okay? Just like that right there. Probably could use a little bit more sauce. That's okay, that'll be enough. That'll be enough. All right. Put the lid on it like that, right like that. I'm gonna move it over here into the center of the grill, right over the coals. Folks at Old Smokey did send me one of these fancy flip-up grates to go with it. And I tell you what, I really do like it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of these coals, not a lot, but I'm gonna go ahead and put maybe 5 or 6 of them in the center and maybe a half a dozen of them around the outside. All right, just like that. And this is what I do instead of using aluminum foil. Works real well. We're gonna let this simmer for about 30 minutes. We want this to come to fall apart, fork cut tender pork steaks, because if you just cook them fast like I just did, they're done, you could eat them, but you're not gonna be able to enjoy them. They're gonna be too tough. So we gotta make them tender, all right? All right, coals at north, south, east, and west. I'll go ahead like this. And we'll do the northeast, southwest directions too. Right like that right there. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover this up and I'm gonna shut this grill down and at least shut the bottom vents off. Probably gonna cut that won't go on there with that lid up. I mean with that grill up, yeah it is. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the bottom vents off, but I'm gonna leave the top vents open and we're gonna let that just cook for about half an hour. All right, they've been on here for about 30 minutes. I shut the bottom down. I left the top going, but only about halfway on the vents. And let's go ahead and take what's left of these things, coals off of the top. I want to show you what these look like. Now look, I'm not going to bother with a taste test on this video. I eat these a lot, just trust me. They're really good. They're going to be fork tender and fall apart. And they're going to be really tasty with that Cajun barbecue sauce. It's got onion and celery and bell pepper. And it's got a molasses in it. And it's got ketchup in it. And it's got mustard in it. And it's got all kinds of good stuff in there. I don't know what all's in it. But I know that Cajun barbecue sauce is really, really good stuff. And like I said, Jack Miller's and Pig Stand, people will fight about it. You know, it's broke up families as whether or not which one they like the best. All right, let's go ahead and take the lid off. Look at these pork steaks here. I'm telling you what, these are going to be tender, tender, tender. All right, look how tender they are. All right, I'm telling you what, you see that? Look, look, it just falls apart. Look at that right there. Oh, there it is, okay. I'm telling you what, this is just, these are gonna be absolutely fabulous, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and bring them inside. I'm gonna eat them, and I'm gonna take that little piece right there. You can see how fall apart it is. Oh, it's hot, man, woo! Well, that's good, that was good. Thanks for watching Big Blue Barbecue. Whoa, I burned my tongue. But we're gonna let them cool off, eat them. Man, they're good. We're gonna eat just like that.